In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to build a highly profitable and highly sellable woodworking business. Let's dive in. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel, and as always, so grateful that you're here. In today's video, I want to talk to you about 4 principles you can use to make your business highly profitable and highly sellable in case you want to sell it. Now, if you're like, okay, well, I'm not interested in selling my business, these principles are still going to help you make it way more profitable, okay? So without further ado, let's dive into number 1. Number 1, first step to making your business highly profitable and highly sellable is to remove yourself from the business. Right now, I'm sure your business is probably really dependent on you. If you're the only guy in the business, only girl in the business, you're doing everything, right? If you removed yourself from the business, that would not make much sense. But the goal is to scale your business to a point that you can remove yourself from it. You might say, okay, well, Zach, how do I do that and get more profitable? That doesn't really make sense. Well, the goal here when you remove yourself is that you are making way more per hour. You're still making money, but you can allocate your time to the most important things inside of your business or to other things if you want. You may or may not know me, but my name is Zach. I grew a woodworking business to $70,000 per month while also being a full-time pastor working 40 hours a week plus at the church, and also running the Woodworking Business Accelerator program and helping woodworking clients all across North America scale and grow their companies as well. And the only way that I could have done those things and directed my time and my attention elsewhere would be due to removing myself from the business. If I was still the guy making everything happen, it actually would have limited my income capacity, would have limited my time capacity. So the goal is to get your time back. There's an incredible book by Dan Martell, Buy Back Your Time is the name of the book. And it teaches you as a business owner how to logically think through buying back your time as the owner. Right now, if you're watching this, you're probably the guy building everything, talking to all the customers, writing up the invoices, delivering everything. The goal is to get your business to a place where you don't have to do that. And by the way, if you are trying to sell your business, you have to do that. The 2 biggest things I would encourage you with, if you're ever looking to sell your business that you're going to need to fill, are going to be a general manager. You don't need to be the general manager, and then a salesperson. You don't need to be the salesperson. If you can get those 2 things plus the rest of your team in place, you are going to be on your way to having a highly sellable business. Now, so again, when we're talking about profitability, by hiring other people, your bottom line isn't going to be as strong, but you're going to have more freedom to focus on the things that really matter. And one thing I say all the time, and it's so true, the number 1 objective of the business owner is to drive revenue into the business, is to innovate and drive revenue, okay? That's number 1. Number 2 is to increase your profit margins. You're probably thinking, Zach, these don't make any sense. These are completely contradicting each other. Now, here's the truth. If you stay really small and you're the only guy in the business or the only girl in the business, your profit margins are going to be really high, but you do not have a sellable business. So the goal is to get your business large enough, remove yourself from it, and then start tweaking, improving your profit margins, okay? At the end of 2022, I look back on our woodworking business's year and realized that our profit margins were pretty low. And so really started to do some digging, some surgery on the business, and found a couple ways to almost double our profit margins, which made our business highly sellable by the end of 2023. So 1 year later, we had really improved the condition of the business and able to sell it for a really good multiple of our net profits. Number 3 is you need to increase predictability inside of your business. So as a buyer looking to buy a business or just to increase profitability inside a business, the more predictability that you can put inside of a business, the more profitable it's going to be, more appealing it's going to be to a potential buyer. So how do you create predictability? And that is through systems. That's through really good training of your employees and really good documented systems. Anytime that you face a challenge that you're struggling with and you don't know how to overcome, you need to really dive in and stop at no end to find solutions to that problem. And when you do that, what is going to happen is you're going to create a system, try it. There are going to be some components that work really well. There are going to be some components that don't work well at all. But by trying it, by diving in there, you're going to be able to make small tweaks until finally you have a system that helps streamline that small component of the business. And so for us, just a couple examples are making sure that we are always ahead of time ordering materials, that we don't get to a job and not have the materials that we need. So we plan that out, planning out what jobs we're going to get done and by when, planning our marketing, planning our conversations, our follow-up, making sure that we're trying to get people into our showroom so that we can close more sales. These are all things that we wanted to create predictability inside of our business and know that we're not going to be on this absolute roller coaster ride of profitability month over month. We want steady profitability and we want it to be trending upward over time, which I guess it would be like this for you, the camera. So the number 4, this is the last one, and that is to eliminate risk. eliminate risk. When you look at your business, what are the things that if those things broke or those things went wrong, it would absolutely devastate your business? Like you would have to shut the doors. For most people, they don't have a business. They have a hobby. So this isn't a huge deal. But for those of us that have businesses, have employees, have overhead, maybe this is your livelihood, you need to really be looking at what are some of the biggest risks that I have. A couple good examples, if you're only acquiring new customers through one channel, that's a huge risk. If something happened to that channel, could no longer get customers from it, that would be a huge liability to the business. Okay, so that's one. Another one is having maybe an employee that's doing everything. So like if let's say you have a superstar employee that's doing everything and you don't have anybody else trained, and if something happened to them or they left or got another job, the whole business would crumble. You don't want that. You want to try to eliminate risk, have at least a part-timer or somebody else that could step in if need be. Now, you can't just have people on payroll that are the just-in-case people, but let's say that you can find some things that can help you guys get ahead with production, get ahead with building, finishing. You could find a part-timer, train them up in those things, and then also start cross-training him or her across other things that this superstar employee oversees. So you want to try to mitigate and eliminate risk as much as possible. Now, as you do each of these things, it's going to help streamline your processes. You're going to get more done faster. You're going to make more money quicker, and you're also going to create a sellable business. When buyers are looking at buying a business, they're not wanting to buy in and become an operator, typically. Typically what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to buy in as an investor. Hey, I'm going to own this thing and it's going to run itself. That's what buyers typically want. So if you can remove yourself and you have a team that's running the business essentially for you, that's a great sign for a buyer. If you have really strong profit margins and they know that they're going to invest in buying the business and it's going to pay them dividends year over year, it's a great thing for the business, okay? And great thing for the buyer. If you have created predictability and eliminated risk, it's going to put the buyer at ease and they're going to feel more comfortable with the purchase of the business. Now, last question you may have is like, well, how much can you sell a business for? How much can you sell a woodworking business for? Now, this varies. It depends on a lot of factors, but it's really based on your net profits. The most predictable way to see what you're going to be able to sell a business for is typically in our industry 2 to 4 times the net profits. Now, if you have more assets, if you have a larger book of accounts receivable, which is more, if you've written a bunch of orders and you are trying to get to them and you have cash to collect on that, if you have more of those things, if you have more of a track record, that's going to allow you to sell the business for more money. But if you do not have those things and you just have a system that works and you remove yourself from it, you don't really have a lot of assets, you don't have much as far as accounts receivable, well, you're still going to be able to sell the business, but it just may be on the lower end of that multiple. And that multiple is of your net profits. Again, so let's say that your net profits are $50,000 for the year, you could sell that business from anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000. So hopefully that helps. But if you have any questions about this, let me know in the comments below. Would love to hear back from you. And then last thing I want to just remind you of is our free resource below. The Handmade Business Secrets ebook is completely free to you. It doesn't cost you a thing. Just enter your name and email and check that out. And that's going to help you on your journey of establishing and growing a legitimate handmade or woodworking business. So with that being said, guys, as always, thank you, love you, and I'll see you in the next one.